Are we ready? Are we ready?
Are we ready?
Are we ready? Well, welcome everybody to Earthtones Live. Is everybody doing all right? Is everybody doing all right? So, apologize for running about 7-8 minutes late tonight. Yeah, my mic sounds weird. Talking to your mic?
Check, check, check.
Yeah, yours sounds a little weird too, so it's fine. As long as we both sound weird together,
There you go.
I think we're all right. Welcome to Earthtones Live, everybody. If anybody's watching, oh, thank you. I was going to say, I might be able to check who's watching on my phone. Just want to make sure that that everybody is checking it out. We will go get them, Wayne Jarrett. Thank you, sir. Just wanted to say hello and good evening to everyone. It is Wednesday, and it is 7:0 something. 7:14. Good Lordy gracious, we're running late. Yep. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to run anybody off by not being there, but we probably did. So it's okay. I know I said 7 o'clock, but we had some stuff mess up. We normally press buttons and it makes funny sounds, and we ain't got no funny sounds tonight. So we're going to see how good we really are with no funny sounds. So my name is Benji Johnson. I am the owner-operator of Earthtones Recording Studio, and we are going to be talking about all sorts of good stuff tonight, and we'll talk about studio stuff. We'll talk about guitar stuff, and we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. So if there's anything that you want to hear, Aiden, do me a huge favor. Can I get another set of headphones? Just any kind. It don't matter. I think these are jacked up. I think something's wrong with my headphones. The guitars sound great, but the audio, the mic sounds a little wacky. And of course, me running this whole operation would be nice if the mics sounded okay. So is it decaf? Rodney Bettini? You know what it is, man? It's partial decaf. Partially. It's kind of half calf. They call it half calf. It ain't really half calf. It's Starbucks, so it's really, you know. Let's see if these are any better. Probably not. It's probably. Uh-oh. I was like, oh my God, we lost the whole show, but we didn't because Aiden just unplugged my headphones. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's so much better. Yeah, those headphones are horrible. I don't know what happened to them. But, all right. So, how's everybody been doing this week? Let's see what we got going on. What do we have this past week? We had in the studio, this past week, I went to a couple of lovely things last week that I will tell you about that were really cool. This past Thursday, I am fortunate and honored enough to be on the board of GTCC, Guilford Technical Community College, and they have their recording program, and the recording program is so awesome. They do a music production program, and I can't remember exactly what the degree is called in that. I know at Abraham School it's called Music Production, but Half Calf, great band name. It could be half of a calf or half calf. Kind of make it like a biblical thing, half calf. And what it's like, didn't they like do some calf sacrificing or something in the Bible? Something in the Bible. Sacrificed a bunch of stuff in the Bible. Calves, the fatted calf. I'm sorry, the fatted calf. Well, they something like that. Somebody can tell me that knows more biblical things than I do. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, GTCC. I'm on the board at GTCC, the lovely program there, and they were kind enough to have a big reception for all the board members there, and I'm actually the president of the board, so that should really super scare you really bad if I'm the president of anything. You'd have caught me in middle school, you would have thought I'd have been the president of anything, but I am. And so there, I'm the president of the board. I'm the chairman of the board. Hey, that'd be a pretty good band name, too. Come on, I just made myself laugh. That was pretty good, right? So anyway, I'm the president of the board of the advisors there, and we went and had a really great, awesome luncheon. GTCC's got a great program, and the cool thing is they actually have us all over, and they have their culinary department. They have a big culinary department, and they have them do this big spread, food, big buffet, and they feed us, and it's cool because they have a what do they call it, like a mixology school where you go to learn how to bartend, and when you go to learn how to bartend, it's pretty cool because they make you drinks, but they have no alcohol in them, right? For the board members, which is great because I don't that's not good. You don't want me drinking gin and tonics and being on a board. You don't want me drinking gin and tonics and doing anything. So I don't know why I picked gin and tonics, but so they made me a, what did I say? They made me a lime Ricky. It was called a lime Ricky. That was awesome. I had me a lime Ricky, and they made homemade ginger ale. That was really good. But so that was fun. That was Thursday, and that was last week. I went and did that as part of the studio. I'll go and talk to all the people that are on staff at GTCC, and when you walk in looking like me, they look at you kind of funny. That they're just like, "Hey, did the help show up?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually on the board." So did that, and then Friday, what did I do Friday? I had some sessions with somebody. Oh, I had Andre Norblad, and he's one of my awesome clients. He is a bunch of electronic music, which is killer. I always love doing that. Sessions with him, always killer. And then Saturday, I was honored enough to be asked to put on a mix seminar at the AES Audio Engineering Society meeting, our chapter meeting. We have a Carolinas chapter. Oh, I know. Normally, I would hit that, and it would be applause. But we're gonna clap. We're both just gonna clap. AES, AES. What are they chanting? AES, AES, AES. That's right. AES. Okay, so the AES meeting was very cool. We did it at a studio in Charlotte called Vocal Inc. Really great studio. Cool rooms, and I got to do a mix seminar, and we had people sit in. I think there were about 10 people. I did 2 sessions, 2 almost hour-long mix seminar kind of sessions, question-answer stuff, a bunch of cool stuff, and did that. That was awesome, and got a bunch of questions, and you'd be surprised at how many people have different mix philosophies and the way that we go about mixing things, and that's what makes us all different. If we all mix the same, we'd all sound the same. So we're all different, and anything that you can sit down and kind of show if you have a mix, if you mix audio and you have a preference the way that you mix it or anything like that, anything that you can sit down and show anyone else, it's always pretty cool, always good. Hey, Gary Hawkins, how are you, man? And so mixed some stuff and showed some people some mix tips and just the way that I mix, and people will pick up things. There was a girl there from Appalachian State. She said, I took 4 pages of notes. I was like, I don't think I could write 4 pages of anything in an hour, but that was really cool. So she She took a bunch of notes. Everybody definitely has a different philosophy on mixing, Gary. You're exactly right, man. And that the thing that I started out mixing, one of my philosophies to get into like studio stuff immediately was that I run all my effects, any spatial effects, like I call them spatial effects, like reverbs and delays and stuff like that. I run them on auxes, on aux returns, and I run them at 100%, and then I just send out, what I want to those, as opposed to putting a plug-in on a channel to have it affect the whole channel. Like say I put a reverb channel on a snare drum, then every time I adjust that snare drum or I want to change something about the reverb, I've got to go to the plug-in, and a lot of plug-ins have just so many controls on them, and they're not simple. The reverb can be really deep as far as the controls. So keeping up with all that stuff and knowing every reverb plug-in that you have and all that is kind of hard. So anyway, we went down there and talked about some mix stuff. But I mix delays and reverbs on auxes, and I'll insert EQs, compression, stuff like that on the channel. So it gives me a dry channel and it gives me a wet channel. And I keep the delays and the reverbs 100% wet, and then that way I can send things out to them. So that was one thing that I just kind of take for granted because that's the way that I mix all the time, and I just kind of think that everybody mixes that way. I think it's like an old school live sound thing, and I think that everybody mixes. I mean, I always think that if I know how to do it, obviously everyone else knows how to do it too, because I don't think that I'm like cutting edge or anything like that. But it's pretty cool. So had shared a bunch of mixed stuff with the young people and with the people my age and with the older people, and got a lot of questions. Did a bunch of question and answer stuff, and it was fun. So had a good time and was very honored to be able to do that. And that was the AES meeting that we had at Vocal Inc. If you guys are not a part of AES, you should think about it if you are an audio engineer or if you're an up-and-coming audio engineer, whether you're a live sound engineer, if you are a studio engineer, if you are a producer. It is a very, very, very good place to connect with people. It's a great place to share your knowledge. And what I've learned over the years is that sharing my knowledge, people keep a lot of secrets. They keep a lot of things under their, they keep a lot of things, they keep things under their under wraps, as far as not letting secrets out of the bag, and they want to keep their secrets. And I just share everything I can because I learned it from somewhere, and that was watching someone else, or having someone else explain things to me. And if I just share all this stuff with everybody, it always comes back to you. It comes back to you in spades, as they say. So I like to share everything. I tell everybody how I do everything. I show them. They might not understand it, or they might not know why, but so that's what I like to do with AES. Is I like to sort of get in there and network first off, but then I get to see a lot of people that, we know each other and we kind of do the same thing. So we talk, and then everybody will ask questions about certain things. And if I got people there that I'm like, hey man, I got a question about this. So I was hammering the engineer the next day from Vocal Inc. about, his room, about a couple of questions about, if you had a sub in there and what kind and stuff like that. So very cool. And again, very cool place. Join AES if you so feel the need. There is a brand new Carolinas chapter. Woo! I would hit the button. I would woo! All right. We're going to applaud. So anyway, so and Aiden, you can be our point man if you want to try to guess the effects that we're going to use, and if we hear them, it'll be great. It'd be like having somebody else run auxiliary that, and I'll just be like, all right, Aiden's got a job. He's got to come in every week, and he's basically got to run the machine since it doesn't work from in here. I'm gonna unplug it one more time and make it work. Watch. Anyway, so we just wanted to say hello and welcome and catch you up on stuff. I can't even plug this thing back in. Anybody got any questions in the chat? I see a couple of people in there. So if there's anything that you want to know, anything that you got to talk about, anything going on in your recording world, let me know. And I would love to talk about, speaking of networking and sharing all sorts of stuff. I would love to share some secrets here in our not secrets. I would share some audio secrets in our live stream here. So if anybody has anything, let me know. And what do we do? What do we do the rest of the week? I'm looking backwards on my calendar. Sunday, I worked in my yard.
You gotta thank you for the AES information.
Hey, yeah. Dizzy, my man. Y'all must have just got home today. I saw Rodney came and got his car. Y'all say hey to Dizzy. Eric Gale's live front of house sound man is in the chat. You guys say hi. So, yeah, man. So the AES, look up AES Carolinas. I think there is a Facebook group. Don't know if we can. I may be able to share the group in the chat. I'm not exactly sure.
I might be able to find it on the laptop.
Yeah, Abraham can share the AES page. Hit the AES thing up, because I'm telling you, man, it's really great. And again, it's not, if you think you're going there because you want to meet people and you want to network, what's amazing is how many people actually want to meet you when you get there, and you're just clueless about it. I was completely clueless. I walked into this session, and I will tell you the funniest thing about it is that I got the invite. You know, you get the Evite thing or whatever it is, and I think I had to RSVP to it. So I RSVP'd to it, and then I'm at the thing. I'm reading the thing, and I'm like, man, I wonder what all these seminars going on, because like there was a mixed seminar, and then there was a guy from Osberger Monitors,
Killer.
Ridiculous studio monitors, probably
awesome.
$25,000 a pair. No kidding, $25,000 studio.
He was the president of like 4 companies.
Oh yeah,
talked about all of them. It was crazy.
So Abraham went to his seminar, and then I think he went to my second seminar. Not like he learned anything, because it's the same thing he watches me do every single day. But he went to those, and then we had another one that was mixing for. It was either mixing or producing for TV and film, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And then another. So there were 4 different seminars at this meeting. It was really cool. And we try to have I think this is it's not a monthly, maybe every 2 months, something like that. I can't remember. The last one we had was in Asheville.
The last one was
2-3 months ago.
It was this year. So
okay. So anyway, oh my gosh, I broke something. So we went to AES. It was really cool. You guys should check it out. Just look up the AES Carolinas chapter if you are.
Sent the link.
Okay, Abraham just dropped the link in the chat. If it is not in your chat where you are watching, I do not see it in the chat of the. I don't know which group I'm in. I'm monitoring here. Let's see. What am I?
It says it's sent to both of them.
Oh, okay. So check it out. If you guys go to the Earthtones Recording Studio page, if you are not there, search it down. All the links are dropping into the Earthtones. Are dropping into the Earthtones Recording Studio page. I have no idea why it does that, but it does that. So, okay. Oh, it switched it back over. Sorry about that. It's kind of like looking at my phone while I'm doing something. Earthtones Recording Studio. Cool. There you go. All right. Let's get back. Let me get back over here, and then I can talk. I don't have to maybe messing with my phone while I'm talking. Let's see. There we go. All righty. So anyway, AES Carolinas chapter. It's really cool. We have nice events. They get together. They feed you good food. We had barbecue. It was awesome. And you pay your dues, and they have a big AES meeting in I think it's in New York. They had it in New York last year. I did not get a chance to go, but anyway, great, awesome organization, and that was that. Oh, and then what's today? Monday. What else? Let's go back to calendar again. I just feel the need to look at my calendar and fill everybody in on what. Oh, I had Todd Foley and his band in on Monday. They were awesome. Did a bunch of really great stuff in here. And then Tuesday, which was yesterday, I mastered a new record from George Slupuk and Peter Kankura and Charlie Hunter. We had mixed and mastered. We had tracked and mixed and mastered that record about 3 months ago, maybe, I think. Saxophone, drums, Charlie Hunter on his hybrid guitar, and saxophone. Instrumental record. Charlie produced it. Wants to make a 50s sounding vibe record, like 50s rock and roll. He said, I want to make a rock and roll record. I was like, great, I know how to make rock and roll records, but he's talking about old school rock and roll, right? Like old school. So all the sounds on there are cool. But I mastered that record for vinyl on Tuesday with George. That was awesome. And then I did something else. Oh, I got to take part in a live chat with GimmeMetal.com radio.
How was that?
It was awesome. And they have a part on their app which confused myself and Mike Watt. They have a part on their app called Gimme Punk. And Gimme Punk is cool because it's, of course, old punk rock and stuff like that. So Mike Watt premiered his guest DJ spot where he picks all the tunes and plays, it's basically DJ. And he had recorded all this stuff a couple months ago for them. So as he premiered it, we all were in the chat live talking to everybody about the Spirit of Hamlet record and just about punk rock in general and stuff like that. It was really, really cool. That was on Tuesday afternoon, so I sort of monitored that while I was doing some busy work, emails and schedules and stuff like that. So I monitored that and kind of got in, sat in on a chat, like you guys are sitting in on this chat, which is really cool. Anyway, then today's Wednesday. Oh, so last night.
I was about to say, you almost
Hey, so last night we were lucky enough. Fortunate enough, somebody said I was lucky. I'm like, man, luck has nothing to do with it. But fortune sure shines on my head every now and then.
It was pretty lucky.
It was pretty lucky.
It's just more of just happenstance.
It just happened. Mm-hmm. It did. And Abraham's like, Abraham. So probably 6 months ago, sometime this past year, Abraham said, hey, have you ever heard of Tedeschi? And I said, Tedeschi Trucks Band? And he said, yeah. And I said, yeah. I said, that's Derek Trucks on guitar. He said, oh, Jackson's dad's their tour manager. And I was like, what? So Abraham's drummer, Jackson, his dad was Derek's tour manager for a long time. I was like, oh, that would have been nice to know. I didn't know that. So it was very nice. We got to go down to DPAC last night and watch the show from the side of the stage, from backstage area, and from the upper balcony too. The seats were great. So we caught the first set from out front, and then went back and caught the second set. It was awesome. Got to meet Susan and Derek briefly afterwards, and literally walked off the stage, and we're like, "Hey man, how you doing?" So I was like, "Wow, this is fun." Great show, awesome. Watching Derek Trucks play guitar from anywhere in the house is astounding. It makes me I don't even know why I'm holding a guitar tonight. But, hey, it can be inspirational, too, no matter how good or bad you play or what you play or whether you play slide like he does. But what was phenomenal to me, and Abraham both, is how much he played with his fingers last night. Not his fingers on this end, his fingers, no slide. I'm like, all right, Derek, go ahead. And I had read or heard somewhere, I think it was on Greg Koch's podcast, where he was saying that he was interviewing him and saying, I'm noticing that you're playing finger a lot more, playing with your fingers instead of the slide a lot more. And it just kind of hit me last night. I was like, wow, man, he is not, because he normally was, used to be almost 100% slide on all of his lead stuff. But it was a very inspiring show. Great. The band is phenomenal. 3 horn players, 3 backing singers, so that's 6. 2 drummers, that's 8. Keys, bass, that's 10. And then Derek and Susan, that's 12.
Yep.
12-piece band. So, pretty unbelievable. And the sound was just on point. And the band was just so good, man, and so cool and nice to meet and all that good stuff. Anyway, so that was our week, catching you up on stuff. And again, this is kind of the reason I do this show, is because I'm really bad about posting. This is what I'm working on every day. I'll take pictures, and I'm really bad about that. So let's try to do this show and kind of get you guys involved. And hey, we got 6 people in. Who's on with us here? And so anyway, anybody got anything to ask in the chat while we're here? Any questions? Any studio questions? Any guitar questions? Anything like that? Before we move on to guitars, because once we go guitars, it's going to get, how it's going to get, right?
We've got a question
All right,
from Aiden.
What?
What's it like doing a recording session for electronic music? That's a good question.
Okay. So electronic music, it just depends on if the person is strictly using samples or if they're using, if they're using electronic keyboards. A lot of like, if you notice, like you look at the room, I can kind of like point to this camera here, and you can kind of see our room. Like we have like that window back there is actually an isolation room. There's a door beside it that if the camera will pan over enough, you might see the door, but you might not. Nah, I don't think you're going to see the door. Anyway, so electronic music session is pretty cool because I use almost like it's kind of like a hybrid kind of system that I talk about a lot, where I'll have like this machine, if I can get it working again. No, I'm just kidding. So a machine is a MIDI controller that controls a lot of samples, and then I'll have actual audio samples, and then we'll have software instruments and stuff like that. But the funny thing is with electronic music, very rarely what I have is real people recording on real microphones. Like I have an ambient guy that we do a lot of ambient music, and he'll come in and we're not in record mode at all unless it's for MIDI, unless we're recording MIDI, So that's kind of it's kind of what it's like. And there's a lot of sound searching, not soul searching, but sound searching. So we're searching for sounds in the computer and presets and different organ sounds and stuff like that. Synthesizer sounds, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It can make for long sessions sometimes, but they're pretty cool. You just have to kind of figure out, like, you have to, there's a lot of decision making because a lot of the electronic stuff that we do is throwing stuff against the wall, per se. Here's a sample here, we're going to put it in, it's going to work. I've listened to these 5 different drum loops. I think one of them might work, so we auditioned 5 drum loops against a section, and maybe use one, maybe chop it up, maybe, maybe put it into a sampler and glitch it or something like that. But,
we got another good question.
All right, what's our other?
What's your favorite compressor for doing sidechain vocals?
Ooh.
Another good question.
You know what's weird is a lot of the compressors now, I know even with the UA stuff, they don't have sidechain feature in them. Like they make them, if it's a model of a vintage compressor, there's not a lot of the vintage compressors that aren't really spec to that original piece. Like, obviously an LA2A didn't have a sidechain in it. But I mean, there are ways to sidechain them, but the way you're going to normally sidechain something is if you find a frequency that's bothering you in the lead vocal, and you can boost that frequency out to a compressor. You can boost it out to a compressor, and it'll actually compress that frequency in the vocal. Kind of like that's the way they used to do old school de-essers, but now they make de-essers that are all built together. But I tell you my favorite sidechain compressor, and mainly, honestly, it's because it's one of the only ones that I have left in my arsenal that I use on a regular basis that actually has a sidechain function in it. Does anybody remember a plugin company called Massey Plugins? Massey Plugins were like an early on. I probably had the Massey stuff for 10, 15, I don't even know if it was 15 years or anything like that. But I use that Massey, it's called a CT5. Just look up Massey plugins. They're really killer and under the radar. I used to read about them in Tape Op all the time, and I have all of their stuff. They have a L2007 limiter, and I think that's the year I started using their stuff, 2007. How long has that been? Do some math.
16 years?
16 years. I've had their plugins for 16 years. Because their limiter is called a L2007, and that was the year that the limiter came out. So, and it was supposed to be a play on the Waves L2. They just call it an L2007. Anyway, so the Massey CT5 compressor plugin is my favorite sidechain because it does have it's a great compressor plugin anyway, Were you talking about a plug-in, or were you talking about? It just says Facebook user, so I apologize for not calling you out. Oh, it is Gary Hawkins. I see on my phone now. Okay, Gary, are you talking about a hardware piece, or are you talking about a plug-in? Does it say plug-in? Just says compressor.
Just says compressor.
My favorite vocal compressor.
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
The stock Pro Tools compressor.
Yeah.
You can feed it a key input. That's not me. That's you. Oh well. It ain't me. My guitar's down. Anyways, the stock Pro Tools compressor is really easy because it has a built-in key input, and you can feed it a track to the key input, and it just automatically sets that as your sidechain input, and it'll activate that compression when it gets signal from that key input.
And you guys have
stock. It's free.
You guys have to do a lot of projects where you use the stock stuff, don't you? Or do you?
I mean, sometimes it's just easier because of DSP.
Yeah.
Which is also good because you're not killing your DSP. But, I mean, yeah, just for easy sidechain that's quick and, like, you can navigate it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the stock compressor's
Hey, John Dawson. Hey, John Dawson. John Dawson's watching. I took John Dawson's mix session down to this mix thing at AES this past weekend, and I pulled it up, and everybody was just like, oh, my gosh, like how many tracks it was as far as the vocals. So I showed them all the vocal routing, and I showed them how to do VCAs with vocals. Anybody else use VCAs out there? Gary, Yeah, Gary says the stock Pro Tools compressors and EQs are pretty good. I'll tell you straight up also, the B3 that they put in.
Oh, the DB33.
The DB33 stock Pro Tools B3 plugin is the go-to. I will put it in on a session and not even blink about it because I have the Vintage Organs plugin from Native Instruments, and I think I have a couple more. I probably have them that I don't even know I have them or use them. Because when you buy a lot of these multi-pack plugins things, you get so many things with them that unless you buy, you'll buy a multi-pack plugin thing for one or two specific plugins that you really want, and then the rest of the stuff is like extra added stuff that you never really get to. Anyway, so the stock stuff, but the DB33, it's basically the B3, the Pro Tools B3, killer. And the only reason I like it above Vintage Organs, number one, I'm not an organ player, so I don't really go in and go like, hey, this is the way I would set my real B3. I'm just using it virtually, so I'm not really comparing it to a real B3. But the Native Instrument stuff has so many, the Vintage Organs plugin has so many presets and options, and all of them sound different. It has a killer Farfisa in it, and a Vox Continental, which is killer, and I use that on that vibey 60s, retro, like Martini circuit kind of stuff, like with vibey guitars. Hey, Stevie Kleinfelter, I just turned into Mr. Haney. One of my early GTCC interns, Mr. Stevie Kleinfelter, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, the DB33 is a great plugin, but as far as my favorite sidechain vocal plugin, that CT5 Massey is killer. Really good. So look up Massey, Massey plugins. They are really killer plugins, and just they used to have a plugin called a DRT, and it was called the Drum Replacement Tool, and it was pre Steven Slate Trigger, and it would listen to your drum track and it would turn it into a MIDI track.
Nice.
And you could drag the MIDI onto a MIDI track. You could drag the MIDI onto a MIDI track, and then you could send the MIDI out to any other drum sample that you wanted. It was pretty dang sample accurate. There wasn't a lot of lag in it. It was pretty cool. All right. Anything else that anybody wants to know? One more?
Was sent in while we were discussing.
All right.
Skateboarder W wants to know.
Skateboarder W. I think I know who Skateboarder W is, but I'm going to have to look him down. Is he on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching on the YouTube channel too. It's so weird. We're still trying to figure all this stuff out, all the tech end of it out. But we're not on Instagram tonight because Instagram has just gotten weird. It's like, man, They don't. You know, I'm gonna start going live on Instagram while we're doing this, and just tell everybody on Instagram, go to my YouTube channel, because the YouTube channel is so much easier to watch. It seems like. But anyway, so one more question.
Did you ever have a Mr. Microphone in the 80s?
Did I ever have a Mr. Microphone? No, but my next door neighbor did, I think. I wonder who's asking me this question, Skateboarder W. I think so. Did anybody have a Mr. Microphone? I did not have. I have a bunch of real microphones, but I don't have a Mr. Microphone. Was a real microphone, but I did not. I remember the commercial. Hey, babe. Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later. I think that's what they said in the commercial. There's some guys driving by and they had a Mr. Microphone in their car, and they were like in a convertible, and they would talk into the Mr. Microphone. It would come out their radio speakers in their car, stereo speakers. So, yeah. Put a link to the Mr. Microphone in the chat if you can. That'd be awesome. All right, Mr. Microphone, from sidechain compressors to Mr. Microphone.
There you go.
We're gonna talk about it all. We are gonna talk about it all right here, right here. Scott Garrison, what's up, homie? Homie. All right, y'all want to hear some guitar pedals, or y'all got any more audio questions? Man, we're 45 minutes in. Of course, we started 15 minutes late. My apology for probably losing half of you, not starting right at 7 o'clock. Well, Gary, let me ask you the question back. What is your favorite sidechain vocal compressor?
Hey now. Hey now.
Take that.
Hey now.
Ask me a question. Take that. I wonder. I await. I await the answer.
First outboard gear.
Oh. What is this? Haku Records? All right. YouTube?
Yep.
Right on. We got some YouTube watchers tonight. Okay. My first outboard gear. I'll tell you, it was life changing. My first outboard gear. And I take it outboard being stuff, rack mounted stuff, or hardware, things just, like hardware, right? So when I first started doing this, I was right on the cusp of analog tape and digital, or what are called 8-app machines. And the 8-app machines were digital tape multi-track machines. And I was talking to TJ at GTCC about them this past week, and they were such a pain. They were really great though to get started. They got me. They were like the, you know what I mean? They're like the gateway drug to recording for me, because it got me started multi-tracking and syncing up. Their machine synced up pretty good, and I could load tapes that I had into. I got Pro Tools later, but I started out with 8-app machines, and those machines are like $3,000 a piece for 8 tracks. But you could use them, and you could sync the machines up, so you'd have them be like 3 machines. I couldn't afford them, but I had 2 machines that I went into debt for. And then so I had 16 tracks, right? So 8 tracks per machine. So my first outboard gear that really, and when I was using those machines, I was using Mackie 1604s. Anybody remember the good old Mackie 1604? Talk about a gateway drug to a mixing console. Those things were so good. And I guarantee you, I see 1604s at people's gigs now, using them as live little, monitor mixers and front of house mixers. They were made like tanks. I had 2 1604s, Mackie 1604s, and I had 2 8-ats. And then I ended up going, to 20-bit 8-at XTs. Started with the same exact setup. Yes, sir. Oh, 3630s. Yes, sir. So my first outboard gear that changed the game for me was an Art Tube MP. Does anybody remember that piece? It was the first, and if nobody's ever heard the term prosumer, call it prosumer because it's pro gear, but it's marketed to the consumer, right? And it's sort of a middle ground. It's not a Neve mixing desk, it's not a vintage Neve, but it's not a, it's not the most affordable thing you can buy off Amazon. It's not an Amazon microphone. It's good. It's really, really good, but affordable gear.
It's like
right?
Waves plugins.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, like Waves plugins to get your talk about gateway drugs. Yeah. Lord Jesus help us.
You buy 3, you get 4 free.
buy three, you get 4 free, and then to update them at the end of the year, you got to pay them $250. I was like, oh my God, every year? But I thought they were only $29 a piece.
They just released some statement I saw on their Instagram about
great,
the whole subscription model thing. And
great, here we go.
But I think, God, I'm going to go look for that while you keep talking.
Thoughts on that? Anybody got a thought on plug-in subscriptions? Let's get back to outboard gear. My first piece of outboard gear was an Art Tube MP, and it was the gateway drug to I've used the term gateway drug with my son sitting here 10 times tonight, so that's probably not good. But hey, it is. It was the gateway drug to outboard gear for me because it was $99, and it had a tube in it, and it was an MP, so it was a microphone preamp. And they were a tabletop unit. They were about as big as this guitar pedal right here in front of me. And you plug a mic in. It had a output, and I put that thing on a kick drum the very first day I had it because drums are always what you want to sound. Electric guitars, I hate to say it, but electric guitars and stuff like that are sort of easy to record. You put a 57 in front of the speaker, you get it in the right place. It's kind of a no-brainer if you got a great guitar sound. Oh, yeah. Don't like plugins because it takes up CPU.
There you
All
go.
right. Hey, now. And you know what? You're absolutely right. 0 CPU used when you're using outboard gear. So anyway, the first one was an Art Tube MP, and it changed the game. I heard a kick drum through it the first day, and it was like everything I had tried.
I think I might have seen one of those at the music go-round.
Ooh, should we get one?
I don't know, but I saw it.
It sounded like the old days. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, we'd have to go take.
I had their tube. I had their tube something. I had a stereo tube something. But anyway, so the Art Tube MP was a tube microphone preamp. I put it on a kick drum. It changed my life. Had 8 of those MPs. You had 8 of them. I'm telling you, man. Are you guys the kind of guys and girls and gals and people that when you mix and you record audio, if you find one piece of gear, the first thing you say is, "Man, if I had 8 of them, it wouldn't be enough." I tell everybody that about my Universal Audio 2108 microphone preamp. Best mic preamp I own. Under the radar. I bought it brand new. It's doubled in price. Can't find them anymore. And anyway, I talked to the guys at UA about it. I was like, "Dude, you got to reissue this thing," and they were like, "Nope, no parts." Anyway, so Art Tube MP changed the game. I heard it on a kick drum. And that's the first time that I ever realized that the gear does make a difference in the sound. People can tell you, "Oh, the gear doesn't make a difference," and it's like that's a bunch of BS, man. It really does. Expensive mics sound the way they sound, and they're expensive because they sound the way they sound. You put them in front of things, and they do their job, and you go like, "Wow, that's why all those big recordings sound so good." And you're like, "Yeah, no kidding. That was exactly it."
2 of those at the music.
Oh, 2 of them at the music around. How much were they? I hope they weren't any more than $29.
These are brand new. I think they're still making them from Amazon for $80.
What?
Wow.
All right.
Killer.
So anyway, I had tube MPs and I put them in front of my Mackie. Changed the game. I heard a kick drum and I was like, man, unbelievable. And think about that. Gary's saying he had 8 of those. Man, think about if you had an 8-channel tube console.
Yep.
It cost you. I mean, there's a company called Tree Audio. They made Steve Vai's big console in the studio. Steve Furlot is the guy's name. Inward Connections was his company, I think. But Tree Audio, they make tube consoles now. Eric Gale is finally on. We've missed you. Sorry, man, if you tuned in at 7 and we weren't here. But it just took us a while to get the wheels turning tonight. But they are turning. So anyway, think about if you had an 8-channel tube mixing console. How much friggin' money it would cost you. And I will tell you, if you go to, see if you can find Tree Audio and drop it in the chat. And guys, I'm sorry that the chat's only going to the Earthtones Recording page. I don't know why. A lot of you guys are looking on the Esteemed Colleagues group, which is cool. And on the YouTube thing too. I think they may be going to YouTube. I'm not sure.
They are. They should be.
They do? So Tree Audio. Just go to Tree Audio and drop there drop there.
Gracious.
Yeah. You look at those consoles. You talk about tube consoles. Unbelievable. But then you look at the prices and then you think about, wow, that Art is a pretty good deal, man. If you think about 8 channels, like you were talking about, $99 a piece, $800 for 8 channels of tube audio, not bad. And again, those were game changers because I put them in front of the kick drum, and all of a sudden the kick drum had the heft and all that stuff that didn't come out of my Mackie 1604, and I was hooked. And Daryl Trogdon, when we gon' get our band up and go play out? What you doing, man?
Are there even prices?
They're probably not prices. They're probably like, so those are what? That's the Roots 16 channel. Does it say ask us for a quote? Probably so.
There's not even like an option.
Go to Vintage King and just look up Tree Audio.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how much a tube console costs if you really want to get into it. Anyway, that was my first outboard gear, my first outboard piece. Daryl Trogdon says, "Let's do this." I'm ready to do this. Are you ready? 4 or 5 months until this kid goes to college.
I'm ready.
We're only going to have him on breaks, so we got to do something soon. Okay, so
that's just a channel strip.
That's just a branch of the tree. It's literally called the branch.
Pretty cool.
Tree Audio Branch 2 channel strip, $2,920. Wow. Okay.
Let's see if they have any consoles.
And again, so I will tell you straight up, it is about the gear. Get good gear and put it in front of good musicians, and they will sound. Your recordings will sound good.
That's killer.
You can go overboard with good gear. You can buy only good gear, and you can have really crappy recording practices and crappy musicians you're recording. And, your recordings might sound sonically good, but, they're only going to be as good as your players, really. But so anyway, yeah. So there was another question that I totally talked over. I'm sorry. Did I miss it?
I can't even find the cost for these consoles. I just can't.
Gary says using a 421s on a snare much better than a 57. Hey, I might have to try that. I'll tell you straight up, man. I got into the i5, the Audix i5 world a couple of months ago, and it's like a Magic Mike on the snare, man. Not Magic Mike. That's rather stupid to say. Did I say Magic Mike on this thing? So yeah, man. So speaking of Daryl Trogdon, what's everybody using on bass guitar when you're recording the bass guitar? Anybody what you're recording? I will tell you the one rule at Earthtones Recording, we don't really like bass amps. Not that we don't like them. We just don't like them in our studio eating up a bunch of all right, Aiden, we got a battery down.
Here we go. I finding a cost for these consoles.
Okay.
I do not like it. This one ranges.
Oh, it's the Tree Audio Roots
Gen
Atiba.
2.
Atiba Berkeley is watching. He says, which console you need a price for? By the way, i5 is life.
Check that out.
i5 is life, son. On a snare.
No faders.
So good. No faders. They're knobs like the old UAs.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're looking at these. Atiba, we're looking at these. The Tree Audio. You guys go to VintageKing.com and just look up a company called Tree Audio. Woo, my lord.
The only place
the good thing is the range. The range on the console, the range of prices is only $27,000 to $57,000. That's only it's only that much. It's just that range on just the
Gen 2.
Just the Gen 2, which is maybe that's Byron's dog's name.
That is
Gen
Byron's
2.
dog's name. I was thinking about that when I said that. I like this one.
So fun.
Gen 116 channel. Call for price.
Yeah, you got when it says call for price, you better get ready to second mortgage your house, friends and neighbors, because it's going to happen. Yeah, or don't call.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah, don't pick up the phone. There's going to be somebody on the other end that'll be saying, "We can sell you this console if you give us your house."
Let's see. So if we say 16 channel, it's $58,000.
Oh, 58,000
for 16 channel.
Atiba, I have not used the i5 on guitar cabs yet because I am lazy. I'm lazy, and I have not used it. But I want to. They have a lot of top. They have a little bit more top end than the mid kind of. But I tell you what, do you want to know the mic that I don't like on guitar cabs? And I've used it for a long time, and I've just gone back to my old school. Is I don't like a 57 on guitar cabs. I'm sorry, guys, I don't. It's not my thing. I like guitars that don't rip my head off with top end. So.
Yeah, right.
I
said, yeah, right.
Well, so, okay. But I had the bass running into bass and compressor. Okay. Honer, bass DI, Sans Amp. Oh, all right. I see you. 58 better than 57. You know what? On the snare, I think so.
True.
Yeah. And the other thing is this. Speaking of gear, we're talking about all this big money gear and stuff like that. One of my favorite engineers is Daniel Lanois. You guys know who Daniel Lanois is? I hope you do if you're an engineer and you're watching this show. But if you don't, just go look up everything he's done. Lanois. Of course, everyone knows who Daniel Lanois is. He's like the Yoda of making records. 58 on the snare, has way too much peak, and is really harsh. Uh-oh. Let's not get in a fight in the chat room.
Discourse.
Discourse is happening. Anyway, so yes, it's a little so I like the i5 because the Audix microphones, I'll tell you this about Audix microphones. Everything that you EQ into every other microphone that you use, Audix has that EQ'd into the microphone already. You can run it flat. They're D6. Anybody use the D6 on kick? My old drummer, Kelly Pace, used to have a D6. He used it live a lot. And he was like, hey, you ever tried one of these? And, man, I put it on kick drum, and I was like, it's got all the 350, 400 scooped out of it already, which I'm going to do either at the mic, if depending on the track, or at the, or I'm going to record a D112 and scoop it out later. And so, I've moved away from Shure a lot in general. The coloring. Crayola. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I think you are absolutely right moving away. Not necessarily moving away from Shure, but moving away from every microphone that everyone has. I told all the fine people at AES this past weekend, we just started talking about recording tips in general. We got past mixing, and they all hung around afterwards, and after we all had dinner and after the seminars, and they picked my brain about stuff. And again, I'll tell you, everything is why we do this live stream every week. I will tell you every single thing that I know, and I hope you use that and build upon it and continue to do the thing that we all do. But the funny thing is, what does this one say down here in the bottom? No, did I see that? Because these are all we're all congregating all the comments over here. Yep. So, great kick mic, yes sir, yes sir. Yes, man. I'm telling you. So the D6 killer, and again, it's got that they have the EQs built into them that you're probably going to end up EQing anyway. But if that doesn't work with the kit you got, you're kind of stuck. But yeah, man, you're right about Shure, Atiba, or just any microphones in general. If you have all the mics, if we all had the same microphones, right? If I had a U87 and 57s for everything, 414s, 421s for my toms, and what's my kick mic? Everybody uses a beta, what's the beta, whatever the beta Shure mic is. I don't even have one. Anyway, yes. What you look at is you'll look at a lot of studios, and they want to have the same microphones that everybody else has. And I'm like, what's unique in that, man? It's like somebody saying when I write a song, everybody that writes a song has got to start off with using G, C, and D first, and then we can all build on that. It's like, no, man, that's not the way it happens. So I try to have different tools in my toolbox to make the recordings that I do here sound different. And that's just really the long and the short of it. I want to have things. I want to have things in my mic locker. Well, I can't even talk. Locker that other people don't have. So maybe you'll come here and use them. The one thing that I see is my big blue bottle mic. I wanted one for a long time. I like the presence. I like the top end on it. I like the fact that, it's not so dark, but it's not a U87. That's the best part about it, is it's not a U87. And, you can go down the road to anybody else and record and probably have a U87 right in your face all day long. I don't have one. I don't own one. Anyway. Sorry, I got all wound up. But, yes. So, does anybody want to know my... I hate when that happens and your throat goes like... Ugh. Does anybody want to know my... I think I'm going to be fine. Talking microphones kind of chokes me up. Kind of chokes me up. Anyway, so my secret weapon on guitars, not that I have a secret or my guitars sound greater than anybody else's, is, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, the EV had a collaboration, unique and relevant, yes sir, For the style is all that matters. You're exactly right, Atiba. So, EV made a series of 2 microphones years ago, and they paired with Blue, the company Blue, which I love, right? They make just such different sounding microphones. They don't try to sound like everybody else. And they paired them, and one was called a Raven, and it was a dynamic mic, and they looked like kind of egg-shaped. So being with Blue, they named them after birds because Blue had the dragonfly, and it had the
Kiwi.
Kiwi.
You remember the Kiwi?
Remember the Kiwi?
We wanted that
Yeah.
For so long.
Yep. Yeah, we wanted a Kiwi for a while, but we got the bottle instead. So the Kiwi and the Robbie.
Yeah.
The Robbie Mike
The
Pre.
package deal.
Yep. So we wanted that for a long time.
Man.
We used to sit when he was a little boy. We'd sit and look at
At the
microphones.
old studio.
We'd sit and look at microphones online
At
when
the
he was a
old
little
studio.
kid,
I remember.
training them up right.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, everybody can have those things. I just kind of like to have unique microphones and stuff. So the EV Raven for guitar on a guitar cabinet has all the right top end knocked off of it, and you can just crush it with the signal, and it takes it. It's really great. They have a little bracket built around them, really cool looking mics. You can probably find them. See if you can find a link to one on Reverb and maybe share it in the post or share it in the chat. EV Raven, and they make a condenser, the same series called a Cardinal, and it's red, but it's stained wood, and the black one is like metal, which is weird, but the red one is a Cardinal and the black one is the Raven.
This one.
Yep, that's it. It's probably sitting right in front of me on a guitar cabinet somewhere in my booth. How much are they?
Hey, there's one on Reverb for $90.
$90. Share that link in the
There's the Cardinal.
share that link in the chat. How much is the Cardinal?
$150.
I'm not as nuts about the Cardinal. I used to use it quite a bit, but I just don't use them much anymore. But they're cool, and I'll keep them because they are what they are. So, any other questions that I see in the chat that I missed or anything like that? I know I was talking.
Big old link.
Oh, big old link.
Big old link.
So there's a link. So Abraham just dropped the link to if you guys want to check out that EV Raven microphone for guitars. Killer for electric guitars, man. Okay, I think it's time to play some guitars. Anybody want to hear some pedals? Yeah? Who's going first? What guitar are you playing tonight? They can't see you because you're sitting way down. Let's go over here to this camera. What guitar are you playing tonight?
We're playing. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
The pre-production Charvel Strat.
Boom.
Beautiful. What year?
80?
Ooh, listen to that.
Maybe even 79. I found that guitar at Campbell Music in the mid-90s. Man, I don't think I'm going to be able to go see Eric tomorrow because I have a session tomorrow night.
Where is he playing?
He's playing at the Ram Cat.
Huh.
You should go. You should go.
Maybe.
They must have rolled into town. I think they rolled into town today because Rodney came and picked. Yeah, I told Dizzy earlier in the chat. Rodney came and picked his car up. So I saw my interns were like, I think I saw Eric's bus pull in, and my door was locked, and I was doing something. I was in a session or talking on the phone or working on something, so I missed them coming by to pick up all their stuff and drop. But I'll, if you guys get a chance, Eric Gales, the Eric Gales, at the Ram Cat in Winston-Salem tomorrow night. Word is that it is sold out, but I don't know. Check online, see if you can find some tickets. It may be sold out, may not. I'm not sure. But King Solomon Hicks opens, and $1 of every ticket goes to Piedmont Blues. Oh, shut up. I didn't know that. Come on, man. All right. So, bro, you got to be shameless. You got to be nothing but shameless. You are not shameless. You're the president of Piedmont Blues. There's nothing shameless about that at all, man. You're doing the Lord's work over there. Stevie Kleinfelter says, do you still do any work with Corey Wong? We saw Corey. We actually went with Eric Gales down to see Corey in Raleigh. He played a few weeks ago, month ago, 3-4 weeks ago, something like that on a Sunday. 19th of February was when it was, over a month ago. Anyway, I have not. We have talked about it. We have talked and talked and talked. Every time we all we'll talk with each other about stuff. We'll talk about. Yeah, did you see that show, Gary? It was great, right? So we went down. We had a 2-month. We had a 2-month inside window to what was going to happen that night. I just couldn't say anything about it. So we knew Eric was gonna roll down there, and my wife was unfortunately in the hospital at that time, and she was just like, "You are going to that show, and Abraham is going to that show." So we actually drove our car separately. Eric and the band drove down in their bus, and we followed. It was hilarious, man. It was great. So we took and he and LaDonna took the dog. Have you guys seen Crown, their new dog? He's the boss now. He's the boss. He fits in my hand. He's tiny, man. So anyway, yeah. So we went down there and saw that show. But we talked, and every time I talk to Corey or Eric talks to Corey, we all talk about them all coming and doing something here in town. So what I'm trying to set up is I'm trying to set up the Corey Wong, Eric Gales, Charlie Hunter guitar summit
yeah.
to record it. And I think if we did that, number one, I wouldn't be able to tell anyone because I can't have anybody showing up at my door while that's going on. But I would let you know as soon as it was done. But no, I haven't done any more recording or work with Corey since we did the song with Charlie in here. But we talk when he's out and just text, about stuff. But yeah. So, but I have not. You were here? Were you here, Stevie, for that? OMG. Who said OMG? Chad Perry is watching. Yeah, OMG, right? That would be OMG about the possible guitar summit. That would be off the chain, man. So I'm trying to facilitate, all the meeting of the minds coming together, and I'm trying to be the catalyst and say, come on, guys, let's get it all together. It'd be great. So if that happens, yeah, man, that would be quite something to behold. And if it happened, like I said, I couldn't say anything to anybody about it. And I would say, like Eric and I tell each other when we know stuff, we'd tell you, but we'd have to you. And I can't even say that or type that on Facebook, or they will. What's up, Chad Petty? So anyway, anybody want to hear some pedals? Now that we got a captive audience of I don't know how many across multiple platforms, let's play some pedals. Abraham's playing the 80-ish pre-production Charvel that is a very sought-after guitar that I just happened to buy for $300 in 1992 because I liked it and I thought it looked like Jakey Lee's guitar. All right, what do you got? Oh, Abraham's playing through the Kemper. I'm playing my Telly, my Zion 90 Telecaster with the F-hole. Hold on, let me go over here. Hey, watch out, they're going to kick us off the platforms. F-hole. Swamp ash body. Quilt top. Bird's eye neck. Joe Barden pickups. Woo! It's the machine. If I had to sell them all and keep one, it would be this one. No offense to the pre-pro Charvel. Sorry, Charvel. Or the gold top. Sorry, gold top. Oh. That's a beautiful clean tone off the Kemper Profiler amplifier, ladies and gentlemen. So what's your first pedal up? Woo, that guitar sounds good. Lindy Fralin pickups, ladies and gentlemen. and that one was resurrected by none other than Kenny Marshall from the original Zion Guitar Shop in Greensboro, North Carolina. He is in Norfolk, Virginia now. He has resurrected both these guitars, massive fret jobs with jumbo stainless steel frets. Can I hear it for stainless steel frets? I'd hit the applause button. I'd hit the applause button if I had one, Aiden. I'd hit the applause button if I had one, Aiden. Hey now! You know what they're saying? You know what they're going to be saying? Kenny Marshall! Kenny Marshall! Kenny Marshall! All right. Aiden is on point. Aiden is on point. All right. All right, Noodles. What pedal you got?
I've got the warm audio. Yeah.
Warm audio?
I've got the warm audio Foxy tone box.
Watch yourself.
Orange suede. I mean, come on.
It is totally
Come on.
orange suede.
No lights.
You
Nothing
gotta-
on the top.
It's the only pedal I have. You have to vacuum every now and then.
There you go.
You got to put a lint
Deep
roller
clean
on it. It should come with a lint roller. That'd be great.
No kidding. That'd be
Next
a
time you have it on the show.
branded lint roller. That'd be pretty. I mean, come on. Marketing opportunity.
Could we buy those and then rebox them and sell them with the Foxy Tone
I
lint
think
roller?
that would be illegal. I do think that would cause some legal trouble.
It would be. It's no more illegal than anything else I've ever done. So. All right, so let's hear that thing.
So this
Oh,
is kind of
was that your volume knob? Oh, I hear you, Charlie. I hear you. All right, let's hear it.
Woo. So this is the take on the
Fox Tone machine.
The Fox tone machine, I believe.
The FOXX tone machine, which if you find one of those, they're redonkulous in
Not
price.
cheap. Not cheap at all, unfortunately. But those, I think those were a little deeper orange suede, and I'm sure if you find one now, it's pretty.
Flip it up and show the knobs.
Pretty
so they can
ratted
see the
out.
knobs on the.
But here's your knobs, and it's got rubber feet on the bottom.
Gotta like that.
It's like its own little compact unit. So, I think it's pretty interesting that the controls are listed on this plate right here, as is instrument, amplifier, input-output labels. Everything's right here.
So they don't have to gunk up the suede.
Yeah,
That's why.
there you go. So, you've got volume, sustain, octave sustain, on-off, and then mellow bright.
Mellow. It's got a mellow switch on
It's
it.
got a mellow switch
It's
on
got
it.
a mellow switch on it.
So
I
we'll
love
hit
it.
everything at noon on the bridge pickup. There's clean.
Mm.
And we'll hit it and see what happens.
See what happens. Oh.
Turn the volume up all the way.
Woo! My gosh.
So we get all the sustain on it. There's your sustain.
Yeah, now. My gosh. Play me some higher stuff with the neck pickup on. I love it. All right, what's the other knobs? What you got over
Oh,
here?
listen to that.
Sound like a spaceship coming to pick me down
So
and
if we hit our-
pick me up in a Galaga game.
Hit our octave on.
Woo! Oh. Yes! Come on. Sorry, I'm gonna hang my headphones over my neck. That's right. What is that, the mellow switch?
Mellow Bright.
Fuzz mellow bright. Watch. That's fuzz mellow. I like fuzz mellow. And then fuzz bright. Woo! All right. All right. Oh.
How does it clean up?
I hope not good at all. Because it's not made to be clean. Because it's a Foxy tone box. Oh. It's a little noisy. What's going on with that thing? It's a little noisy. It's a little noisy. Wow. Okay. There's the Foxy tone box. From Warm Audio, ladies and gentlemen. It will make you sound like you're going to destroy everything in your path, even if you have a smile on your face. The Foxy tone box. Warm Audio. All right.
There you go.
There you go. Foxy tone box. Warm Audio.
Wow.
I love it. I'm going to steal it from you. That's yours, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's yours. Might have to steal it from you. I have to check, see whether it's yours or mine. It's kind of community property, but not really
Sure.
when they're not at the house when I need them. All right, my first pedal of the evening was brought over to me from a friend of mine, and we're going to take a look at it. It is from a company called... here's the box. It is from a company called Tone. I'll show you the box right there. And it is called, let's turn it. It is called the Octaland. Octaland?
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to say that. You know when you look at certain words and you're like, there's another way to say that. Octaland, that's all. I will tell you, this is one of the most substantial pedals I've ever held in my life. It's very heavy and very well made. I don't know what it does. On the box, if I can read with my glasses on, it says Octaland. It says Octaland real big. True bypass. I don't know what it does. So here's the controls. Volume, drive, blend, and voice. I would say it's probably a fuzz pedal, but it has a switch on the bottom that's a three-way little mini toggle, and it says full fat, all one word, full fat, full fat. I was going to say that over and over, full fat. This second one says glass, which I guess would be like tube, and the third switch over on the third position over on the right says, can you read that? Vintage. Says vintage. So let's start over in the full fat. All knobs at noon. Here's my clean tone. Clean tone goes like this. Yeah, that's right. That's how the clean tone goes. So now you're wondering, now you're believing why I would never sell this guitar ever. Unbelievable. So let's try this pedal out. We're going to kick it on. Here we go. I don't hear any noise or anything crazy, but I'm ready. Woo! Is it hurting your ears?
No.
I tell you what I dig about that pedal is that it doesn't have a lot of crazy harsh top end on it. That's insane. Woo! Sounds like a fuzz to me. So let's see what the voice knob. You know what? insane. Insane. And the blend, let's get it. So normally when you have a oh, did you hear that? Normally when you have a blend knob on something, it goes from nothing to 100%. This thing goes from...
It's like a boost almost.
It goes from kinda... Woo, that's a good sounding overdrive, too.
So if you hit a chord...
Oh, that's nuts. Everything back at noon. Let's go up with the drive. Oh, something's getting ready to get broken. That's great, man. Woo! Awesome. All right, I love it. It's got a little octave kind of thing going on. I don't know if it's intentional or not. Let's see. You know what I dig about it? Is it's just, the volume is just cramming the front of the amp. That's the volume control. It doesn't just get massively louder. All right, let's go through the switches quick. That's the full fat. Same settings in the glass. Now let's try the vintage. Is that an octave? Everything all the way up.
Everything all the way up.
That's the way it should be. You don't even have to do anything. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. So. All right, that's the Octaland. I got to steal that one from Charlie. He brought it and left it. I said, okay. I have to steal that one. So anyway, that is my first pedal, the Octaland by King Tone. Go get you one. They're really, really great. Seriously. Fuzz, distortion. I mean, man. Come on. All right. Octaland, King Tone. What's your second pedal, Abraham? He's already got it hooked up.
I really have no idea what my second pedal is.
That's what we like about this show. We're just going to get some pedals, and we're going to plug them up.
We're going to find
We're
out
gonna
what
plug
happens.
them up. We're
Oh,
going to...
Oh, yeah, this one's got dip switches in it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, are you ready? What I didn't show you about the Octaland. Hold on. Got to go back to my pedal one. Hold on. I got an addendum. I have an addendum to my pedal. It has dip switches in the side. I forgot this was going to be the dip switch episode. But anyway, it's got dip switches in the side of it, and they have a lot of words on them that are really too small for me to read. But there's a vintage setting that it's in now, but there's actually a high gain setting and an overdrive setting. Wow. So this thing will actually do way more than it does. All right, I got to steal that one. Not going to give it back. I ain't going to give it back. The King Tone Octaland is going to stay because that's really, really insane. I got to inform the fine gentleman that I got this pedal from that I'm not giving it back. All right. Abraham's next pedal is called. Who is it by?
Ooh.
Who's it?
It's by Exotic Effects, who
With an X.
who made Eric's signature Brute Drive.
We just kind of
made that
we
connection.
just kind of made that connection today, watching a rig rundown of some kind.
So we've got the Robo Talk, and I don't know what it does. I don't know what the knobs do. I don't really know what they say.
If you guys had a pedal that was called Robo Talk, what do you think that it would do? Do you think that it might talk like a robot?
That'd be a good
Is it Robo
assumption.
Talk or is it Robot Alk?
Hey, now. That's a good question.
Come on, that's
So
almost a
we've
dad
got
joke, right?
Channel A and Channel B.
All
I
right.
don't know what the difference is.
Do they have words on them?
Sensitivity and decay.
The switches have sensitivity and decay.
Sensitivity, decay, sensitivity,
No, I'm
decay.
saying they have words on the switches.
On, off. It's self-explanatory.
I think I know what that switches
So,
does.
I assume these solid words are for Channel A, and these kind of not filled words are Channel B.
Okay.
So each one has, I assume that says, channel volume
So you got
and resonance.
You got a booklet with it?
I have no idea. We're just going by
All right,
this.
we're going. No booklet, no instruction manual. Just like the rest of my life. No manual.
So you've got resonance and channel volume, and then there's one in the middle for both that's direct volume.
Okay.
So I assume that's like a master volume.
Okay.
So you've got kind of a mix for each channel and then a master volume,
All
decay
right.
and sensitivity,
All right.
resonance. And I don't know what it does, but we're going to find out. Let's hit channel A. I don't know. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, it's like an envelope filter.
Oh! Oh! Woo! Oh! That's insane. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're thinking this set of knobs is for one channel and that set's for the other channel?
Yeah, so these are for channel A, these are for channel B, this is master volume. So there's your channel volume.
That's one of the best sounding envelope filters. You guys know when you get a really bad sounding envelope filter, it'll about knock your head off,
Yep.
right? Like
Well, I'm sure we can make that
bitey?
happen. Let's find out.
Oh, hey, let's not.
Sensitivity all the way up.
Oh, I love it. Come on.
You can kind of search around for that sweet
Yes.
spot.
That sounds great. All right, let's hear the other channel. That's ZVEX.
No, that is not correct.
Crap, exotic. I knew it started with an X or a Z, or an X or a YZ.
Oh!
Oh, let me hear it. Reverse. Reverse. Is it the reverse? Is it reverse envelope? All right, so that's
sure
your
is.
so that's your A and your B. One
Killer.
reverse, like open envelope and close envelope.
That's
right?
what I'm under the impression of. Maybe?
Oh, I don't know. Wow. Wow. All right, that's great. That's great. Wow. All right, you gotta
let's see.
you gotta find the link to that
We
and the
hit this.
Kingtone Octaland.
And we change the resonance.
Ooh.
There's your knock your head off.
Yeah, it's not so bad though. Not as bad as it could be. That's amazing.
Let's see what the decay does.
We'll go like this.
There you go.
Now. It's just the speed it opens up at. So if you clamp it down, you can really play fast with it like this and it'll react. Like, woo! Watch. Keep going. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you guys want probably the best envelope filter I've ever heard, RoboTalk. Exotic effects. Wow. And I have the Keeley Neutrino, which is almost a sharp tie for first, but this thing is crazy. Insane. All right, keep going.
It would help if the channel was on. Let's hit them both at the same time.
Oh, can you? Insane. So you can have both envelope filters on at the same time. Wow. All right. That's nuts. That's nuts. All right, that's nuts. All right. Yes, sir, Dale Cole. That is an auto wah, but it is probably the Mercedes of auto wahs from what I can see here. It is by, let's switch over to the overhead cam. It is by, you see it here, it's probably a little glare on it. It is by a company called Exotic Effects, which would be X-O-T-I-C.
That was a good jam.
That was a great jam, Abraham.
Woo.
Bringing the funk, son. Bringing the funk, son. And it is called the RoboTalk. and it is a 2-in-1 envelope filter. But I will tell you straight up, I have heard a lot of envelope filters. And thank you, Chad Perry. Yes, he is rocking. But yeah, man. So that envelope filter, you know how envelope filters are really hard to get right. Sometimes they're way too harsh, and guys will buy them in the store and they're $29, and you're like, oh, it sounds great. And you take it to a gig and it chops your head off, or it makes your amp sound really thin. Just plugging this thing up literally out of the box, we had no idea what it was or what it did. It's really killer. So, and that's just a Strat. That's just a Strat.
Yeah, here's your clean.
Straight into. Yeah. So there's the no pedal. All right, let's hear the pedal. Yeah. So there you go. Auto Walk, Robo Talk, exotic. If it's exotic, get your pocketbook out. But I will tell you, I have found that when they work and they're not too harsh, they're very cool. So, all right. What is my next pedal, Abraham? Are you ready? Do you know what it is? All right, my next pedal. My go. My turn. My turn. My next pedal, I scored at the Asheville Guitar Show. It's not called the Asheville Guitar Show, but it's called the Western North Carolina something official.
Those lines.
And this is the Fulltone Deja Vibe. They call it the Deja Vibe Mini, but if you look at it, it's not too mini. It's a pretty big pedal. The big one was about this big. If you see my hands over that pedal, is literally this big, and I almost traded a pedal for it, but I did not.
Thankfully.
And saw this one walking out the door that somebody had at an incredibly more affordable price than the massive one, and I didn't want the massive one to play on a pedal board. Anyway, so this is the Fulltone Deja Vibe, and it is basically their Univibe take. And if you know the Deja Vibe, it was on all the records when people started coming back to, when all the 80s guys started coming back to a lot of really vintage guitar tones. You know, they got out of the whole like Marshall rack-mounted crazy gain stuff, and they came back to vintage stuff. And I know that the Deja Vibe was on the pedal board of a ton of guys. Like, it was on George Lynch. Woo. It was on Warren DeMartini's pedal board. Woo. All those guys. And they used this vibe pedal, and it kind of brought that vintage thing back to a lot of us guys that grew up listening to stuff like that, but also admired all the 80s guys that could play super fast. So here's your everything up at noon. This is the Fulltone Deja Vibe. Here's my Here's my clean tone. And here's the Deja Vibe. I think.
Make sure you're plugged in.
I am.
You got power.
Oh, it's on.
Okay.
There we are, son. Woo! You better watch out. Best part about the Deja vibe. Yeah, man. Suggestions for a good sounding, reasonably priced chorus. Man.
It depends on your definition of reasonably
Yeah.
God.
I will tell you, as far as reasonably priced pedals, guys, you guys cannot go wrong with the JHS 3-knob series.
Truth. Very much.
Pedals. They're $99, and that might seem a little expensive, but they're $99, and they sound amazing. They sound like $1 million.
Yep.
Great pedals. And yes, Robin Trower.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, man, come on. Woo! That thing's amazing, man. The Deja vibe. Best part about the Deja vibe is, check it out. Let's see. Yeah, it is reasonable, man. But not just reasonable, but you know that all those pedals are $99. They have 3 knobs and 1 mini toggle switch. Do we have any 3-knob series pedals at all? No. I should get a couple. I should reach out to my JHS guys and get a couple, and put them on the show. That would be awesome. But yeah, man, their chorus pedal. And I want to say, look up quickly. Look at JHS's site and see if they make a 3-knob. I think they make 2 different chorus pedals, Dale. I think they make a chorus and they make like a. There was a pedal that called like the chorus ensemble, like some crazy pedal that they made, a Boss one or something that they made. Just go to their site.
Okay.
But yeah, they should the 3-knob stuff, the 3-knob chorus. You know, you can find them, and if you really want to be a little more bargain about it, honestly, you can find most of that 3-knob stuff on Guitar Center, for probably $69. You know, if you bought one. But I'll tell you straight up, man, all of them are made.
And they just have the one chorus.
They just have the one chorus. Does it have any kind of description on it? The cool thing about them is they have 3 knobs like a Boss pedal would, but they always have a switch in them, and the switch is going to do something. The switch is going to do something that's not built into any other kind of pedals. They'll have like what does it say?
You've got 3 knobs, volume, rate, and depth for fast, no frills tweakability. Yep.
And then what's the switch?
Want to drown your dry signal? You got it. Flick the vibe switch, and you'll hear nothing but a chorus-soaked wet signal.
So that's the trick with the 3-knob chorus is the switch on it will go completely wet with no dry signal left. Pretty cool. So if you want it for something crazy, but yeah, and Terry V, you're right, man. Deja vibe. So here's the best part about the Deja vibe. And that's the reason I went back down on the down camera. You see how big this knob is? That's your speed knob. So you can actually work it with your foot like you used to. The old MXR pedals had the big rubber knob thing that will go over it, so you could actually turn it. Had like a tread, it had like the gnarly looking tread things on it. So, woo. All right, that's the Fulltone Deja vibe, which lives right here at Earthtones Recording Studio. If you guys want to come and play at any time on your next session, feel free to grab it. And the Octaland also. Abraham has one more pedal, and hey, it is a last but not least. Tell everybody. What's playing. Oh my goodness. What happened? Yeah, what happened? That's kind of weird.
I don't know.
You want to go find another amp? That's fine. Huh. Weird. That's what old dad's here for, to help with your guitars when they don't sound right. All right.
That works. So, we've got made by Jackson Audio. A very good pedal brand we've stumbled across recently.
Yes.
The Corey Wong Optimist Dual Overdrive.
Man,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I had some applause, Aiden, I would surely be. Thank you very much. I would surely be clapping for that pedal.
This thing is packed full of just everything you might want out of an overdrive and more. So, let's see what we've got.
So I want to tell everybody we're getting ready to lose our front camera transmitter in a little bit. So we're going to get these pedals out of the way so we don't lose. But we still got 2 cameras left, and hey, we'll go all night as long as we got camera.
Yeah, that
Alright.
sounds fun.
Sorry. So tell them again what it is. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
So, you've got OD1, OD2, and click both of them, and you activate this EQ, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me go.
There it is.
Let me go.
Beautiful.
Overhead. Okay. Slide them since we're not using the machine tonight.
Yep.
Slide it over, and you can
There you
show
go.
them that big old pedal right there.
So, you've got your OD1, your OD2, and your EQ, which can run with neither of these overdrives activated. You can just use the EQ on the pedal.
Insane.
Pretty handy, I'd say. So, the OD1, if I'm not mistaken,
From what I read in the manual, Corey dialed it in to sound like a
Klon Centaur, I'd like to say.
Woo! Come on!
That is not bad at all. That's
No.
everything at noon.
Wow.
Dynamic.
Super dynamic. See if it does the Klon trick, though. The Klon,
Alright.
Everybody knows the Klon trick is turn the drive almost down and turn the volume up. Yeah, now. Come on. Woo! Now
There
let's
it
hear
is.
let's hear the drive up. All right. Bring the volume down some, maybe. Woo! Knocking my head off. Oh my lord! Wow. That's great. That's great. And the great thing is you don't normally associate Corey Wong with overdrive, right? So we got this and we're like, what's it gonna be like? It's crazy good. And there's sections in his show now where he's playing a bunch of kind of overdrive guitar solos. We were digging that. That was cool. But woo, listen to that. Seems to come off of it. Okay. Yeah, man, come on. Guys, that's a killer pedal.
You hit the EQ on, say more bass, more treble.
Yeah. Woo! Alright, what's side 2 sound like?
Woo! I want to hear that. That's just the EQ. Woo! I like that. All right, let's hear side 2. All at noon. This should be modeled after an Ibanez Tube Screamer.
Alright. Oh! Man! Alright.
gain down, volume up.
Nasty. That's nasty. Oh, that's with the pedal on?
Uh-huh.
Well, let me hear the gain cranked up. We're running out of transmitters, son. We're gonna lose broadcast quality. We're gonna lose broadcast antenna strength. Woo! Oh! There you go. I love it. foregoing my last pedal tonight. We're about to run out of transmitter batteries. We appreciate everybody for hanging out and watching us do silly stuff for dang near 2 hours and play guitar pedals and talk about silly stuff that we've done. We will see you again. Oh, by the way, that was let's say it one more time. That was the
Corey Wong, Jackson Audio, Optimist Overdrive.
Yes, sir. Next week, we will be here or not?
Yeah, we'll be here next week, not the week after.
Is it next week? No, we're gone next week.
Nope, not me.
We're not. Oh, you're right. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday, same time, same bat channel. Everybody says bat channel. I don't know why, because of Batman. Same time, same bat channel. We appreciate you guys. I said it again, didn't I? We appreciate you guys all watching. And if you missed any of it, go back, watch it again on our Facebook pages, watch it on our YouTube pages. If you're on our YouTube pages, subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notifications to tell you when it's going to happen again. And watch all the rest of the silly videos that we have. We've got all of these archived on our YouTube. They're really easy to find. You just go to the live section of the YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel, if you're not watching us on YouTube, is youtube.com/EarthtonesOfficial. Earthtones Official.
Yes,
so you go find the Earthtones Official YouTube site, and you can check it all out. Thank you guys so much for watching again. We are out.
Thank you.